8 games, no travel, no fans. It's all about basketball from here on out, so let's preview what we'll see between the lines down in Orlando. The Celtics open up with a headline matchup against the Greek Freak and the Milwaukee Bucks. Milwaukee is the top seed in the East, but is it still the top team in the East? At this point, these teams will have gone nearly 4 months without playing a real game, and that begs some questions that need to be answered. Will Milwaukee's elite chemistry carry over? Is Giannis still the most dominant force in the league? Will Jason Tatum continue to be the superstar he was for the final 3 months before the hiatus? Oh, and what will the Celtics look like with a healthy Kemba Walker ready to roll? We'll get some answers July 31st. Talk about a great opportunity for the Celtics to prepare for the playoffs. Portland has one thing every great playoff opponent will throw at the Celtics, and that's a dominant 1-2 punch. Boston will work to contain the perimeter duo of Damian Lillard and CJ McCollum while trying to add another notch to the win column. But it won't be easy, especially with Portland fighting for its playoff life. Every game will feel like a must-win for the Trailblazers as they push to make the playoffs. This game sure should be competitive. Playoff opponent? Maybe. Miami, Indiana, and Philadelphia are separated by only 2 games for the 4th, 5th, and 6th seeds in the Eastern Conference. It's very possible that this matchup could be a preview of a playoff series to come just a couple of weeks later. And that might not be a bad thing for the Celtics. They're 2-0 against the Heat this season and will look to complete the season sweep of Miami during this game. But that will be a tough challenge to overcome, as a well-coached, scrappy, and talented team like the Heat will do everything it can to upend Boston. Back-to-backs. Remember these? This matchup marks the one and only back-to-back for the Celtics while they're playing their seeding games down in Orlando. Boston is 5-4 on the second night of back-to-backs so far this season, but this one comes early in the process of getting back to game action, so TBD on how the seeds will look after the ball goes up. One thing we do know for sure is that they can't let Caris LeVert look like he did back on March 3rd, when LeVert went nuts during the second half to lead Brooklyn to a comeback overtime win while scoring a career-high 51 points. He'll be the top target for Boston's defense, no questions asked. There's going to be a lot on the line when the Celtics and the Raptors meet on August 7th. These two teams could be battling for the 2nd seed in the East. They could be playing to show each other who's boss before a potential playoff series. And they'll definitely be using this matchup as a prep game for the playoffs that will start just a week later. Boston is 2-1 against Toronto this season, but Marc Gasol scored only 1 point during the first matchup and he missed the final 2 with injuries. We'll have to wait and see if a healthy Gasol will help Toronto to even the scales. The Celtics have put the clamps down on Markelle Fultz and the Magic this season. Fultz has totaled just 10 points, 9 rebounds, and 9 assists over 2 games against Boston this season, which are by far his worst numbers against any opponent. The Celtics also won both of those games by an average of 13.5 points per game, so Boston will be playing for a convincing season sweep of the Magic in their own hometown. The biggest question heading into this game is, will the Celtics begin resting players? At this point, the C's might already have their playoff seeds set in stone, and it may be more beneficial to rest players and have them practice hard than to play major minutes against a team fighting for a playoff berth. Speaking of which, Memphis is almost guaranteed to be in a fight with another team or two for the final playoff seed in the West. If they're going to earn that spot, Ja Morant will need to play better against Boston than he did the first time around, when he scored just 2 points and attempted just 5 shots during a 24-point loss. Boston's final seeding game may resemble the final game of any regular season, when most playoff seeds are already locked in. The Celtics might not have anything to play for in this game with regard to playoff seeding and matchups, and Washington might be in the same boat. The possibility of this scenario coming to fruition means that Boston's second and third units may find themselves playing major minutes against the Wizards, which would help them warm up for the playoffs. But the same can be said for the players on the other side of the ball. The Wizards will be without their top 3 players in Bradley Beal, John Wall, and Davis Bertans. This game could very well be the last opportunity of the season for Washington's lesser-known players to showcase to the league what they're made of. 2 weeks and 8 games to warm up for the playoffs. Buckle up, everyone. Celtics basketball is back.